You're watching Bermuda Tonight. It's Monday, May 27th, 2019. I'm Diane Brewer, and thank you for joining us tonight. Topping our news, just a little more time. The long-awaited immigration reform legislation will be brought before the House of Assembly as promised. So says Wayne Keynes, the minister responsible for immigration matters, in the face of criticisms that government continues to be slow in tabling the much-anticipated legislation, a situation which at least one group maintains continues to deny many residents the opportunity to have their immigration status regularized. Gary Moreno tells us more.
Saying he appreciated the concerns raised by the group calling itself supporting fair immigration reform, Minister Keynes gave the assurance that the importance of such reform is not lost on the government. The organization has often criticized what it says is government's ongoing delay in bringing forward such legislation and has repeatedly urged government to fulfill its stated promise of comprehensive bipartisan immigration reform to correct the injustices and divisions that continue to exist. Mr. Keynes, in a release, indicated all reform must center around the premise of Bermudians having a place of primacy in their homeland. He made the point, quote, "We believe any and all immigration reform should increase opportunities for Bermudians," unquote. The minister reminded that a bipartisan parliamentary committee for immigration reform was set up in 2017 and that their work to examine policy issues around reform is ongoing. Now under the Ministry of National Security and chaired by Minister Keynes, this committee, which provides oversight to the various immigration efforts, is comprised of government members of Parliament Renee Ming and Christopher Famous, as well as opposition MP Leah Scott and Benjamin Smith. According to Mr. Keynes, the group meets to discuss and examine policy proposals, and ultimately, Cabinet will consider approving all new policy and legislative changes. The government, he went on, is undertaking a review of work permit categories with a view to moving certain classes of work permits to more restricted categories, where it appears that there may be Bermudians capable of filling those posts. Reflecting on November's speech from the throne, Minister Keynes maintained government promised to consider bills that simplify issues surrounding Bermudian status for mixed status families. In such situations, one or more parent could have Bermudian status or hold a permanent resident certificate, while one or more of their children or a spouse does not have a permanent resident certificate or Bermudian status, despite being born here. The minister explained the ministry is currently in the data gathering phase and legislation for this amendment will be presented to the House during the summer session. He added comprehensive immigration reform remains a work in progress and all elements of the plan will be phased in and executed systematically. The timetable, he pointed out, will be announced when it's practicable. Mr. Keynes further stated in the interim, government will continue to keep the public updated on developments and involved in the process by periodically requesting feedback via the Citizens Forum. Gary Moreno, reporting for the Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Thanks, Gary. Elsewhere, members of the public can access the Citizens Forum by visiting forum.gov.bm. The public can also keep abreast of information and announcements by downloading government's new Tree Frog app, available for free from the Apple or Google Play Store. Meantime, no surprise, that's how the OBA's Nick Kemp reacted to news of a 12th month of declines in retail sales for February. The government data showed that after adjusting for an inflation rate of just 2%, the overall volume of retail sales dropped nearly 4.5%, with all sectors recording declines. Senator Kemp, the shadow finance minister, suggested the results would have been different if the OBA's approach had been implemented.
Well, unfortunately, Tarai, it's not new news at this point. We're going on our 12th consecutive month. The last time this happened was at the end of the former PLP administration's tenure in government, and I think it really speaks to both consumer and business confidence on island. The OBA had an approach to both reduce government spending, find and bring economic stimuli to the island, such as the America's Cup and the airport, as well as trying to have a welcoming immigration policy. But it seems that the PLP has taken the exact opposite tact on all these items. And it's a government that's more insistent on spending and then finding ways to tax the population to fund it. It's of note that these 12 consecutive months capture some of the new taxes the PLP have put in, such as the sugar tax and the dividend tax. But there's a number of other tax increases that are coming in that came in on April 1st with this new budget, or will be coming in shortly thereafter, and those haven't even come into effect with retail sales. The recent healthcare reform pushed a lot of government expense or lack of government's will to tackle healthcare spending onto the private sector.
And once again, Senator Nick Kemp speaking there. Well, coming up, a local entrepreneur has a great idea to attract more tourists. The latest weather news and much more. Stay with us.
What? You want a race? Rubber Duck Derby 2019. Raffle tickets now on sale. Bring the whole family. Presented to you by Friends of Hospice and Lindo's lead sponsor.
Cal is back. He's been hearing about open internet and wonders if it applies to Bermuda. The short answer is yes. Open internet or net neutrality is the principle that internet service providers, referred to as ISPs, must provide access to all lawful websites and online data equally, regardless of whether you're posting pictures to Instagram, watching your favorite sports team, or even streaming movies from Netflix. Without open internet, ISPs could influence what you see and how quickly you see it by speeding up some services and slowing down or even blocking your access to legal content or apps. The regulatory authority is developing rules for open internet to protect consumers by making it clear to ISPs what they can and cannot do with internet traffic. And we'd like your input. Just visit rab.bm and submit your feedback by clicking on the public consultation for open internet link between May 20th and June 28th. Make sure your voice is heard.
4K ready box, cloud DVR storage, more local channels on every device in your home. Get more with FiberWire TV.
Welcome back. African American travelers have been given yet another reason to visit Bermuda. This year, one local entrepreneur is already looking to cash in on the travel market by offering a unique Bermuda vacation to 20 African American women this autumn. As Tarai Trott reports, it all comes after the Bermuda Tourism Authority made African Americans one of their priorities in its national tourism plan.
Entrepreneur and writer Kristen White plans on leveraging the island's national tourism plan by uniquely organizing tours to the island for African American women beginning this October. Why just women?
Well, I'm a woman, and I feel like the experience that I have in Bermuda, I do tours here. My shop is very female-centered. I carry books primarily by women of color.
It's long been said here that over a period of decades, not a lot was done by the powers that be to attract black visitors. Do you agree?
Yes, I think our imagery definitely wasn't diverse enough, and I'm coming from the cultural sector as well, having worked in museums down here in St. George's, and that was also a way that the history and different historic experiences I felt were also not really fully representative of black people in Bermuda.
Ms. White is hoping to bring in 20 African American women for the first tour, thanks to a partnership with Monroe Steele, a New Yorker who is popular on social media.
We've sold about 5 packages so far. And so, it's a 4-day weekend in the States. It's Columbus Day. So that was another reason that we targeted that weekend. And I've partnered with an international lifestyle and a fashion blogger she's based in New York. So she's actually going to be the host of the trip, and she's promoting the trip to her friends and followers on social media. So because she's a fashionista, we're really centering the trip around sort of like art and style, culture.
Ms. White, over the past few years, has made a name for herself by connecting black women in Bermuda to films, lectures, and retreats. In her St. George's bookstore named Long Story Short, she features gifts and books by black female artists, writers, and entrepreneurs.
It is unique, isn't it, that to attract your visitors here, you're using social media and not the traditional methods?
I think a bit of both, but yeah, definitely using social media. Monroe Steele is the blogger and lifestyle and fashion blogger that I'm partnering with, and so she posts about the trip every day on her Instagram. But I have also, talked to local media, traditional media, but definitely for how women have been reaching me or finding me has been through Instagram.
According to statistics, food and shopping are leading spend categories for African American travelers, with nearly half spending their money on local and/or regional cuisine on their most recent leisure trip. Tarai Trott reporting for Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Thanks, Tarai. Well, turning to weather news, a very nice day today, but a few showers possible for our Tuesday. Let's go to AccuWeather headquarters for the latest forecast.
AccuWeather is presented by BF&M Insurance Group. We now go to AccuWeather headquarters.
The BF&M Insurance Group is pleased to bring you tonight's AccuWeather forecast. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brittany Boyer, and hopefully everybody had a great holiday weekend, and we're not dealing with too much in the way of too severe of weather, I guess I could say. We do have a frontal boundary that's just off to our north that's going to be pressing down into our area as we get into tonight and also into tomorrow, and that is going to bring us a couple of spotty showers. But so far this month, as we get ready to wrap up the month of May, it hasn't been too wet, but for the entire year, we've had about 2 feet of rain so far, so we could use a little bit of the additional rainfall that this frontal boundary will be bringing us here over the next 24 hours. So as we look at things over the island right now, we are in the low 70s, so feeling pretty seasonable outside. Humidity between 60 and 65%. A light breeze coming in out of the west between 10 and 15 knots. The water temperature 76 degrees. And in and outside of the reef, looking at some of the current wave heights right now, 1 to 2 feet inside the reef, about 3 to 6 feet as you head outside of the reef. And if you are going to be doing any boating over the next 24 hours or so, know that we do have a small craft warning, at least continuing into your Tuesday morning. So heads up if you're going out on a boat early tomorrow morning. Once we get into the afternoon, we will have some improvements out there. As we look at some of our tidal times here, we have our low tide coming in at 10:36 tonight, and then our high tide coming in just before 4:30 a.m. on Tuesday. So overnight tonight, the winds will start to increase as that boundary approaches 69 degrees for your overnight low under partly cloudy skies. And here's a look at our futurecast as we put it into motion the next 24 to 48 hours. Couple of spotty showers possible, but then the big weather headline is going to be, look at the wind direction here. We're going to have some milder air pumping into the region, so temperatures into at least the end of the week look like they're going to stay into the upper 70s. So something to look forward to. Tomorrow, however, we'll be dodging a couple of showers here, mainly cloudy skies, few peaks of sunshine, and yes, breezy conditions, a low tomorrow night of 69 degrees. If you're doing any traveling, here's a look at the Caribbean outlook right now. You can see it is pretty unsettled right now in Jamaica, so although we're not really seeing severe weather here, they're looking at some severe weather in Jamaica, maybe some locations like Montego Bay. Barbados, 88 degrees, couple of showers there, also into Trinidad. And we're not seeing any tropical development just yet. We are getting close, though, to the start of the Atlantic hurricane season, with that starting on June 1st. So only a couple of days away until we get into the hurricane season. All right, here's a look at some of the other locations for you. New York City, some showers and thunderstorms tomorrow. Boston, periods of rain. Toasty in the southeast, a lot of places in the 90s and triple digits. Not as hot here, but temperatures are going to be trending above normal. We get through the showers on Tuesday, and then look at this. Kind of copy and paste the forecast right into the weekend. Generally dry weather with temperatures in the upper 70s.
AccuWeather was presented by BF&M Insurance Group.
I was diagnosed with illness. Very frightening because my son had just turned 1 and it was a cancer. So I young, new baby, and I needed to get the care that I knew would be definitive so that I wanted to be around for him for a very long time. I got in contact with BF&M, and BF&M was able to commit at that time to doing at least 50%, so we were comfortable, okay, well, we're gonna go. We got off the plane actually the day of the procedure, and on my way to the limo, my case manager called and she says, Kiana, we got it, you're covered at 100%. And I cried all the way to the office because I was just so happy. The BF&M difference is that I really felt that the case manager really was concerned about my overall care. And because of that, I really appreciated them. I think that personal care, that willingness to listen, and then to work until they were able to get it so that I could get full coverage really made the difference for me.
And you're watching the Monday edition of Bermuda Tonight. Well, it may not be part of any compulsory reading list, but Desmond Crockwell, editor-in-chief of Visions magazine, is on a mission to ensure the publication is at least readily available to students in the island's 2 public senior schools. And as he told Gary Moreno, with good reason.
The devil finds work for idle hands, the old adage says, and to ensure that does not happen, Mr. Crockwell is seeking to partner with the business sector to ensure the magazines are available to students at both the Cedar Bridge Academy and the Barclay Institute before the start of the upcoming summer break.
Summer's coming up soon, and so we know that it will be more idle time for our young people, and at that age they are probably more at risk of being out there on the streets and being impacted by it and probably participating in it and in the activity. So we want to be on top of as many young people as we can, because these are the ones that we are trying to save.
The magazine's editor makes no apology for placing the focus on these 2 schools.
Well, I think there is no secret where much of the anticipated violence can be identified at with the Barclay and the Cedar Bridge. Also, Success Academy is also a school that we have actually donated the books to, because those are the ones that we will target for when it comes to this, particularly fighting and this violence stuff. We want to get right to where the core is without messing around, and we want to get right to where the problem is.
Mr. Crockwell contends the information contained inside is beneficial to not only students once they have access to it through their school libraries, but also to the contributors writers. For many of them, he says, the publication is both empowering and therapeutic.
Well, we have a young man, one example, just as so we can touch on an example. A young man who just came out of prison for multiple gun crimes, and he is adamant that he wanted to write poetry, but he had nowhere to publicize it and nowhere to showcase it. And so he was also at that time kind of active. You know what I mean? Because we can't say too much, but we encourage him to write his poetry, and you can read about his story in our magazine as well, as to how it encourages people that have something to say to actually speak up. Because even the worst of the worst young man has something good about him, and he just needs some avenue to express whatever it is that he has in him. So that's a success rate for us, is if we get guys that really are active and involved in this to see the other side of their potential. You know what I mean? And to actually speak up or talk about their dreams and aspirations and express their ways through poetry or through writing.
Almost like a form of therapy.
That is a form of therapy, exactly. Yeah, exactly. For them, that's what it is, therapeutic, because they get to speak about their feelings, and a lot of us need to hear that. So that's why this magazine is important.
Here's hoping the initiative gets the support Mr. Crockwell so urgently is seeking. Gary Moreno, reporting for the Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Thanks, Gary. Well, Earl Basin will have all the latest in sports after the break. Stay tuned.
Every home tells a story. Your story is all yours.
Big kid, too cool. I make my own rules.
Wherever you live, whatever your style, express yourself.
My style says what's up. Don't wanna ever grow up.
So many styles to help tell your story and create your unique dream home.
We're gonna stand out, break away from the crowd.
Start shopping for furniture at U.S. prices today. Lifestyle Furniture is Bermuda's newest furniture store and is proud to be the home of the #1 furniture company in the world, Ashley Furniture. Visit lifestylefurniture.bm or stop by our showrooms today. Lifestyle Furniture, This is home.
4K ready box, cloud DVR storage, more local channels on every device in your home. Get more with FiberWire TV.
Turning to sports now, Jessica Lewis wins gold in Switzerland Grand Prix, and only one team remains undefeated in the Bermuda Cricket Premier Division. Earl Bazin has the details and so much more in tonight's sports package.
In front of a large crowd, Bermuda edged a San Miguel Azorian select team 2-1 at the National Sports Center on Saturday evening, with all three goals coming in the first half. In the 22nd minute, Bermuda won the ball in the midfield, and a pass found Jonte Smith, who threaded a pass to Justin Dunower, who calmly stroked the ball into the back of the net. 4 minutes later, it was 2-0. Smith worked hard, taking on three defenders before unleashing a left-footed shot that found the back of the net past an outstretched hand of the Azorian goalkeeper. San Miguel Azores was able to pull a goal back when they were awarded a penalty in the 30th minute, with Joey Ventura converting from the spot. Following the win, Bermuda now turned their attention to face Guyana at the National Sports Center on June 6th, but they have a worrying concern, as on Friday, Captain Dante Levrock took to the field to represent Sligo Rovers, but he didn't last long, as the Sligo Rovers goalkeeper Ed McGinty and Levrock collided in a mix-up, with Levrock stretchered off the field with a concussion. We'll have updates on Levrock's condition as we get closer to the Gold Cup. Jessica Lewis concluded competing in the Para-Athletics 2019 Grand Prix in Switzerland. On day one, Lewis would win a gold medal. Lewis raced to victory in the T53 women's 200-meter race, clocking a time of 31:54. On Friday, we will remember that Lamont Marshall and Rosanna Hoy were crowned the Bermuda Day Half Marathon male and female champions. Both Marshall and Hoy turned in a commanding performance from start to finish to claim the victory. Marshall would cross the line for his third victory in a time of 1:11:38, while Hoy would claim her second title in a time of 1:27:58. Kazai Seeley and Catherine Bean Rosario ran to victory in the Heritage Day Junior Classic races. Seeley would pick up the win, crossing the line in a time of 10:38. Bean Rosario was 7th overall, stopping the clock in a time of 13:04. Two undefeated teams took to the Southampton Oval in Bermuda Cricket Premier Division action yesterday, as both Southampton Rangers and Bayliss Bay were looking for the all-important win. Batting first, Southampton Rangers were bowled out for 105. Trey Manders was their top scorer with 24, while Kyle Hutzel was the pick of the Bayliss Bay bowlers with figures of 8 overs, 1 maiden, 2 for 36. In reply, Bayliss Bay were bowled all out for 103, with Southampton Rangers winning by just 2 runs. Shaquille Otterbeert was the top scorer with 22, while Dion Stovall led the Southampton Rangers bowling attack with figures of 10 overs, 4 maidens, 4 for 21. Gennaro Tucker bowled 10 overs, 3 maidens, 4 for 27. In other Premier Division League action over the weekend, St. George's Cricket Club defeated Flats Victoria by 6 wickets, while St. David's Cricket Club got by Cleveland County by 97 runs. On Saturday, Bayliss Bay won by 6 wickets over Cleveland County. Southampton Rangers defeated St. George's Cricket Club by 10 wickets, and St. David's defeated Flats Victoria by 4 wickets. Bermuda track athletes concluded competing at the Atlanta Relays. On the final day, they picked up 12 medals to make it 16 total. Masasi Smith won the gold medal during the 15-16 girls long jump with a top leap of 5.35 meters or 17 feet 7 inches. Rizai Garland won the gold medal competing in the 13-14 boys discus throw with a top toss of 28.70 meters or 94 feet 2 inches. Joseph James won the 13-14 boys high jump gold medal with a top leap of 1.57 meters or 5 feet 2 inches. Texas. A two-race day was held off the Spanish Point Boat Club as the Bermuda Powerboat Association season resumed for the second race day of 2019. David Sally and Matthew Smith won the A class in the National Championship Series. Quincy Doling and Ty Bean won the B class. Sean Butterfield and Jamal Woolridge took the checkered flag in the D class, while Henry Tolbert and Andrew Cottingham won the S class race. Sally and Smith won the A class during the Spanish Point National Championship race. Craig Nisbet Sr. and Craig Nisbet Jr. won the B class, while the D class was won by Butterfield and Woolridge. The S class was won by Tolbert and Cottingham. The 2019 Bermuda Fitted Dinghy Race season got underway in the St. George's Harbor, where 3 races were sailed with 3 different winners on the day. Contest 3 out of the Royal Bermuda Yacht Club won the Heritage Trophy race, with Challenger 2 out of Sands Boat Club finishing second. Victory 4 out of the St. George's Dinghy and Sports Club were third, and Elizabeth out of Royal Hamilton Amateur Dinghy Club did not finish as they had sail troubles at the start of the race. Elizabeth 2 would come back and sail to victory in the Anniversary Cup race, while Challenger 2 won the Leon D. Fox Cup race. A total of 5 boats took to the St. George's Harbor to compete in the Comet class James Perry Trophy Regatta. Maxwell Curtis and Stephen Furbett sailed to victory in the 4-race series, edging out veteran Gladwin Lambert and his crew Stephen Mabry. Both finished on 4 points, but they did not finish in the final race, for Lambert allowed Curtis to claim the win. Dale Bankman and Tajari Rogers finished third with 7 points.
I'm Earl Baisden with Bermuda Broadcasting Sport.
Such a great community event, and it was such a privilege to be a part of it and seeing it grow. Back from the 70s and the 80s, and just more people running it all the time. I kind of had the privilege of being one of the first women to be able to even do that. It started with the Boston Marathon, and so then we moved to the island here and in 76, and so it was just so much fun to be a part of this event. I was just a participant. It didn't make any difference. I certainly wasn't going to win or be anywhere near that, but it was great. Both, all the different times that I ran from Somerset and the one time, I was amazed how many people did know me. Don't go out too fast. That's the tendency. Everybody goes out too fast. And just don't worry. Don't be on the front line, and just try and go out easily and enjoy. No one would want to hear this, but I did run on an empty stomach, and coffee is what got me through all my runs.
We are the voices.
You are with the captain.
It's Mr. Midday.
12 new major news.
The big station.
The morning show.
Your number one song.
The Faces.
You're watching Bermuda Tonight.
This is exactly what you're talking about.
What an upset it was.
The Storytellers.
They are actually using the pepper spray.
Police are aware of this theory.
The water is 3,500 meters deep.
The tax climbs up to 12.5%.
The window on our community.
We bring you the best in U.S. television entertainment.
And the greatest sporting events in the world.
A brilliant performance from Duffy.
We are the island's only Bermudian-owned broadcaster of both television and radio.
With the only TV channels that are available over the air in beautiful high definition, completely free.
We are always expanding.
We are always innovating.
And most important, we're always your station.
This is Bermuda Broadcasting.
How much do you want for the cake?
You accept donkey biscuits?
That's our newscast. I'm Diane Brewer. Thank you for sharing your Monday evening with us, everyone. Good night.